am Buff and I'm the stuff, but everybody needs to listen. I am Buff Bagwell telling you to watch out for TNT, the Monday Night Wars on YouTube. These guys are aces in picking winners of Raw and Nitro each week. So tune in every Monday night at 5 p.m. Trevor Shelby, Thomas Kennedy, and are my biggest fans, bro. That's huge to me. That means a lot to me, so thank you for that. And I know you're gonna love their show, so check it out. Remember, TNT, Monday Night Wars, YouTube, Buff Daddy out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 9 of TNT, the Monday Night Wars, where we never cut our audio off completely. I am. Yeah, let's just go on. This week we watched the October 30th, 1995 WWE Raw and WCW Nitro. If you would like to follow along, check out these episodes on the WWE Network. We're your hosts, the Mega Powers, Trevor Shelby and Thomas Kennedy.
Yo, I'm a man of few words today.
Man, a few words.
It's been a long day at work.
Well, it was a very interesting week that we've had. This is obviously the Halloween edition, even though Halloween was a few days ago for us. But it is October 30th, 1995 that we watched, so we're all ready for Halloween here. And I see Tom's wearing his mask as usual. You look great.
I see that you're still as ugly as ever. You don't need a mask.
I know. It's, don't make fun of diseases. Anyways, so.
Hey, at least I have all my hair.
Yeah, I don't. So. To kick things off, we're going to kind of go over a few of what was the weekly rumors of the time, what was going on, and pretty much 100% of this came from Dave Meltzer, who still reports today every week about the happenings in the WWE. I really kind of wonder how he has such an insider's knowledge of all that. So he's got a lot of contacts apparently. He's had them for years, since the 1980s. So the Shawn Michaels, this is a little deal about him and his beating he had at this time. Neurosurgeons had advised him against making the trip to the In Your House pay-per-view and told him not to wrestle. They told him absolutely don't. Even after the whole I'm gonna wrestle, they were saying no, you're not. And so that's why everything kind of went down as it did there. The In Your House pay-per-view ended with Vince McMahon throwing his glasses down at the commentary table, and he was disgusted, saying horrible, immediately after the show went off the air. If you remember, this show ended with Bret Hart and Diesel being pulled apart, and they were booed out of the building. So that was that's kind of interesting. Bret Hart kind of ruined it for Davey Boy there, and even though it was Diesel that kind of pushed him there, and this is interesting, and this is something that they actually announced. I watched the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view for WCW, and they announced this. World War III is their next big pay-per-view, and they are going to have a
World War
giant.
III?
Yeah, it's World War III. So they're gonna have a giant in each ring because with World War III, the way they do it, there's 3 rings. So it's going to be a big battle royal with a giant in each ring. So I guess whatever ring you're in, you got to deal with a giant. I don't know. You would think everybody
I
in
don't know.
that
The
ring.
Yeti's pretty big. I mean, they've got a couple big guys.
Yeah, but you think that they would just gang up on whatever giant you like they do in every Royal Rumble that the Big Show was in. Everybody would just get together and throw him over. The poor guy doesn't stand a chance. So, or he gets eliminated by Rey Mysterio alone. Either way, it's weird. So, poor guy. So,
Wow.
and this is the official Vader has been fired this week from WCW. So, I do expect that we'll see him at some point in the WWE. I'm hoping. So, Vader was one of my favorite wrestlers. So we've yet to see him in the Monday Night Wars. So he had kind of a weird story going on backstage. I don't know, he got in a fight or something. So, but yeah, so we've got Monday Night Raw. This show was their Halloween show. It was interesting to say the least. What did you think of it?
I thought Raw did. They the commentators dressed up on that one. Vince and Jerry Lawler. They
Yeah,
both dressed up. You know, WCW. The only one who actually dressed up was Pepe the dog, and I hate that dog
yeah.
with passion. I
That
hate
puppy. I got a
chihuahuas.
screenshot of that. So
But it was really interesting.
yeah. See, I've got here. Jerry the King Lawler was a surgeon, and Vince McMahon was a I don't know, criminal. He was a jailbird, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he was a jailbird.
Yeah. So that's kind of funny. Jerry the King
He was a
Lawler.
zebra.
Yeah. Jerry the King Lawler did make a comment about him escaping from jail from previous years stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny. He was ribbing him about his involvement with that whole scandal that happened with the steroids. So at least I believe that's where he was going with that. So
Yeah, and with that he threw Hulk Hogan under the bus with
yeah. Um,
and so
this show started out pretty interesting because this is what I was excited for. Remember last week I was excited. Goldust was making his Raw debut, so yay!
yeah,
So
that was a great match.
yeah, so we got Goldust versus Savio Vega. Savio Vega is a really good wrestler in his own right. So this match, you can't really mess it up too much, really. We had Goldust come out. They were saying he has to be treated to certain lighting. He has to have the glitter come down and all that. They're making him like he's a movie star, which is interesting, or like a movie buff or something. I don't know. I don't know if I think he's supposed to be like a golden statue, like an award. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like an award, Gold Dust.
Yeah.
He's resembles the
Yeah.
Oscar.
Yeah, and it's a really weird character, and I'm actually interested in who actually came up with all of this because this is kind of neat. And where it went was just weird. So like how it ended up all these years later. So I thought it was a great
I mean,
match.
it's a strong character. It's been around
Yeah,
for 20 some odd years
yeah.
now.
Well, this is his debut, so you're talking 24 years. This is 24 years. That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
um, I thought this was a great
Who
match.
else's character lasted that long
Uh,
besides Kane? And actually, his character is older than Kane's.
yeah, his the Undertaker. You got the Undertaker. There's not many.
Yeah,
You know, you got personas like Shawn Michaels, but character wise, like this, not many. Because a lot of people like Bob Holly is a race car driver at this point. So
yeah.
a lot of people change.
And,
Um,
and Kane is a dentist.
yeah, exactly. Um, so one thing that I thought was kind of funny was if you look at the picture right now, it shows a haze across the crowd, like like there's a fog, and that was because of Goldust's entrance. They had to have that fog. Well, that fog pretty much stayed around for the entire show. Like it was Vince McMahon actually makes a comment at one point. I don't think they're gonna do that fog very much because he was like, "This fog ain't leaving." So, but no, I thought this was a great match. There were some pretty unbearable movie puns throughout the match. Jerry the King Lawler is unstoppable with those, and Goldust.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler does not stop talking at all.
Yeah, Goldust won this one with a pin. I thought it was a pretty good match. I thought it was fun. I went ahead and gave it a 6 out of 10.
Um, went ahead, me, it's Goldust's debut, and television debut, and I'm a really big Goldust fan.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it was a lot better than Al Snow's last week,
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7.
Okay. I like that. Let's see. The the next match that we had was Joe Dorgan, or Dorgan, I guess that's Joe Dorgan, versus Marty Jannetty. And Marty Jannetty, I gotta say, I've said it in previous episodes, he is over with the crowd. Like, the crowd loves him.
Oh, the crowd loves him. The
And
crowd wants to put a belt on him.
yeah, it's amazing. And I don't know how they screw this up because he doesn't, like, go anywhere, I don't think. So I'm wondering how they
No,
screw this up because I could see easily Marty Jannetty winning titles at this point. If this was current day,
it wasn't. It wasn't the corporation that screwed it up. It was Marty Jannetty who screwed it up.
well, yeah, well, we'll see. I do know that, yeah, he does have a lot of legal issues, especially that. I think that's what got him in trouble the last time in the 2000s when he came back with as just kind of like Shawn Michaels' buddy, and
Yeah.
he got let go because he couldn't go to certain states because he was wanted in those states. So if you can't work, why are you going to be around? So this match was interesting. They did announce that Marty Jannetty was going to fight the British Bulldog next week, so that's going to be a good match. It'll be interesting to see who they put over in that match because the Bulldog had just been wrestling for the title. So to put Jannetty in that lineup, I mean, if Jannetty beat the Bulldog, he could seriously be a contender for that #1 contendership. Um,
Yeah, but at this point, Jannetty's still a mid card,
mhm.
and I don't think that they would put. It's nothing for them to put, a headliner against a mid card just for the headliner to win.
Yeah. But if Marty were to win, you never know. So this was pretty one-sided. This match did not seem to go in good old Joe's direction. I was annoyed during this match because Jerry the King Lawler talked about everything but this match.
Except the match.
Yeah, this was really annoying. Um, they promoted the Hakushi versus Brett versus King and Dr. Isaac next week, and it was just, it was what it was.
It
Uh,
was just a way to. It was just a time that he wanted to promote himself,
yeah. Marty Jannetty won
basically.
this one from a hit from the top rope, uh, mainly because of the commentary, not the wrestling, and the length of the match. I went ahead and gave this a 4 out of 10.
I gave it a. Well, I mean, I might change that because I mean the Janetti was great, and then if you just ignore the commentary,
Mm-hmm.
um, the wrestling was sound,
Right.
and so I'm thinking, you know, if we just base it off the wrestling alone,
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Okay. Yeah. Um. Yeah. For me, it was the
I know it's hard to
commentary.
put the king out of your head
Yeah.
because he's talking so much,
Yeah.
but sometimes you got to do
Yeah. Um.
it.
After this match, we had the British Bulldog and Jim Cornette interviewed by Vince McMahon. It was interesting seeing Vince run the interview. They brought their attorney out, and they were trying to make a point that the Gorilla Monsoon made the statement that the winner would go on to Survivor Series to face Bret Hart. This is not Diesel. Bulldog um, is the one that I guess won that match. I guess. Um,
Actually, no one won that
no
match.
one won that match. So yeah, okay, that's what it is. So no one won. So I guess they're trying to argue that the Bulldog should be able to go forward with a match. So um then the Bulldog is attacked by Marty Jannetty. Um I kind of looked down for a moment, and when I looked up, I was like, okay, well, this is interesting.
Well, he's down,
Yeah.
and
Janae
yeah, I
said he's
mean,
not in his class. Or Bulldog lags into Marty Jannetty. Says he's not in his class. That's when Marty Jannetty came out, and he starts beating on the Bulldog. Um, so it's interesting.
and then he,
You were just attacked.
Janetti starts after the lawyer too.
You were attacked. Are you okay?
I was attacked by my selfie button from my tripod.
Oh no! That's terrible. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. So the next match, which was pretty decent, was the Smoking Guns versus, and I got Otis. I don't know what his partner's name was. I don't know if they ever said the partner's name. I when
For the smoking guns?
Yeah, well, no, the Smoking Guns were fighting um, Otis and someone else, two guys, and they at one point Jim or Jerry the
I
King Lawler
thought they
calls him
gave
the Red
that tag
Rocket,
team a name.
huh?
The Red Rocket. I
Yeah,
thought they gave.
which is a terrible name.
No, it was Buff Bagwell.
No. He's on WCW. No. It's Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn, who are the Smoking Guns, and you got this guy in the
Yeah.
ring right now, which I got the picture up, is Otis, and there's another guy in a full red leotard that I don't think they ever said his name. I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
I can't see the pictures right now because I'm on a delay.
You're on a delay, so you'll see it soon. But anyways, um,
Okay. The red shorts.
yeah. So
Okay, fine about that.
1 2 3 Kid, before this match even really gets started, they do a little video of him where he's apologizing and then demands a rematch from their tag team match when he and Razor Ramon, faced the Smoking Guns, which was actually a pretty good match. So I wouldn't mind seeing those two going at it again, as long as the Kid could actually, I don't know, not get them disqualified or, you know, not go crazy if he loses, which is what he seems to do. The crowd is very excited during this match. I think they really like the Smoking Guns. and they had a pretty. I like the smoking guns finisher, where
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah, I've got a screenshot of it. Billy Gunn's jumping off the top rope, doing like a leg drop while the other guy's holding him up. That's pretty cool. That's got to be better than Hogan's leg drop, you would think, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean anything's better than Hogan's leg drop.
Hogan's leg drop's like the most protected finisher, I think. Not many people kick out of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed this match. It was what it was. It was definitely jobbers, jobbing out to the guns. I went ahead and just gave it a 4.5 out of 10 because it wasn't great. It was just, it was okay.
It was a filler match.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I gave it a 4.
A 4? Not bad.
Yeah, 4. I don't think they're using the smoking guns at their full potential. I mean,
No,
they
definitely not.
just a couple weeks earlier they had the title,
Yeah.
you know. So, I mean, I don't think they're using them properly. So,
Well, I think they are
yeah.
the current champions, aren't they?
I don't remember. They didn't come out with the belts that I remember.
Yeah. I don't have a screenshot, so I don't quite remember. But at this point, it doesn't really matter because they won, and they're a pretty kick-ass team. And so I don't know. After this, we had let's see, we had Paul Bear cutting a promo about the Undertaker, and let's see what I got here. I got Brett cuts a promo that he doesn't care about the Bulldog and Diesel, and he's gonna lose his title come Survivor Series. But the whole Paul Bear thing was a little crazy. They're trying to just explain away the whole Undertaker face crushing thing with Yokozuna, and so
And the Undertaker not being there for weeks on end.
Yeah, so they're kind of warning Yokozuna what's going on. But the next match that we had was Owen Hart versus Razor Ramon, which I personally was very excited about because these are two guys that are pretty good wrestlers, and since we learned about this last week, I was excited. Sorry, I was excited. So, what do you think about this match?
I think it was good. I mean, it was, with the exception of the fact that, you got the King, yelling at everything, everything that doesn't go his way and stuff like that, of course. He's going to yell about it, but I think if you don't pay attention to the commentary, it was probably the best match. And had it gone to fruition, it would have gotten a higher score from me, but it didn't.
Not many matches end in this era.
I've noticed that, and it's pissing me off.
I mean, it had an ending, but not like a winner, like with that wasn't a DQ.
I'm sorry, but if Yokozuna comes out and and destroys everything, you're not gonna win.
No, you're not. And I don't know. I like Yokozuna. I like this whole tag team with Owen Hart. I think it's pretty cool. But I don't like these match endings. I did enjoy this match. They had a lot of really good back and forth. I think that both these guys are very much in their prime at this point of their careers. Scott Hall, I never really cared much for Scott Hall's wrestling whenever he went to WCW. So, um, you know, both these guys really put this match, they put it as a priority. They did really well. Um, they had weird commercial breaks all through this match. I didn't like that so much. But we had the Yokozuna leg drop on Razor, which ended it. Then we had 1-2-3 Kid coming out, and Yoko kills him. I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised he actually lived through that.
Yeah. Then we had probably some of the coolest stuff of the night, which is Odd Man Johnson coming out for the first time and body slamming Yokozuna a la Hogan style. And
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Hogan and Andre the Giant.
yeah, and he did it. He struggled a little, but he got him. I got a pretty good
You got him up.
screenshot. He's got a hand in the gooch, and he's lifting him up, and he's getting him over. It's pretty gnarly. And yeah, he was.
I mean, I definitely couldn't put up Yokozuna. I mean,
No.
I'm a
And
big guy, but he's huge.
yeah, he's a huge guy. So, overall, and I'm including all the madness at the end. I enjoyed it. I got excited at this ending, so I gave this a 6.5 out of 10 just because this actually got me excited for something.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I can see that.
yeah, because I mean, everything that happened in the end, especially the body slam and everything. Yeah, I'll give it a 6.
Yeah.
Um, However, we did miss one match.
Did we?
Yeah, the Hasbro karate thing.
Oh, well, oh my gosh, the Hasbro match. How could I have
Yeah,
forgotten such
I
a
mean,
thing that I probably got up and was making popcorn?
that was probably the best match of the night.
I missed it. You need to enlighten me for this
Oh
masterpiece.
man. So the red samurai
Uh-huh.
kicks the dude off the thing, and it's just yeah, he
Oh my
wins.
god. That was amazing.
Yeah, it
So,
was.
um
It was a quick 5-second clip.
okay, so with that match, would you rate it higher or lower than the, let's say, oh, what's his name? Um the not Holly's match, but what the match we had last week? What's his name? The
Al Snow.
Al Snow. Would you rate that
The
match higher or lower than
the
Al Snow's debut?
I would rate that higher.
Okay, well, maybe he
Yeah.
should take some notes from the Karate Fighter Punch 'em game. So, Rock'em Sock'em
Yeah.
Robots, pretty much. Oh, not bad, not bad. So that was a
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
Raw. That wasn't a bad one, and I really I kind of got excited at the end. It was pretty well put together. I thought not a bad episode really. So
Yeah. It was a coming off of a pay-per-view. It was really good, I think.
yeah, all right. Well,
So
the night before with WCW, they had Halloween Havoc, which I had told myself I'm not gonna watch because I have a lot of wrestling to watch as it is. And then I kept thinking, how are they gonna put monster trucks on top of a building? And then that just got to me, and I had to watch it. So we're gonna do a really quick rundown of that show, or I am, just to get you into it. Yeah, they did monster trucks, but they didn't do it the way that you'd think or the way they advertised. They wet they said that it had been raining, but nowhere else looked like it was wet except for where the ring was for the monster trucks to face off. And that was pretty much for them to slip and slide and go all over the place. They welded the two trucks together, bumper to bumper, and all they had to do was push the other one out of the ring. And that was about 15 minutes of my time watching them go back and forth. It was so exciting.
Really?
No. Anyways, so it was terrible. And so we had let me see. Trying to get my slideshow here.
We have a lot of dead air right now.
Yeah, I know. If I could just get the slideshow to say I'm gonna work. Okay. Well, anyways, not a big deal. I'll just go on without it, and I'll do little animations with my arms. So Hogan and the Giant got out. Okay, so the Giant lost this whole pushing thing, this whole monster truck crap. And they weren't on top of the arena, by the way. They were what looked like a parking garage. They were on a parking garage next to the arena. So, yeah, that was fun. So then Hogan gets out and the Giant gets out and he's pissed off because he's lost. He lost. And he grabs Hogan by the throat like this. And then he takes him over to the edge like he's just going to, murder somebody. So he lifts him up. They got a little ledge there. He lifts him up on the ledge and Hogan breaks the hold. And the Giant seriously starts waving his arms like an idiot, like it's a cartoon. And he falls backwards and he falls, I guess, into the river. That's what they were trying to presume. Hogan looked over the ledge and was screaming, "No!" And you get help. So that was interesting. So
that doesn't sound like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, well, he just murdered somebody, so he had a little bit of a moment. So. Well, there's a brother in there, Terry. He's like, "Help, brother!" So, anyways, so he comes out to the ring, and he, for his match, and I presume to get arrested, and then the Giant comes out miraculously, and he's okay. And so that they don't explain that at all. They don't explain what happened. They don't say that he just landed in the river or he landed and was fine because he's a giant. I don't know. So they had Hulk Hogan versus the Giant in this whole thing. That was a fun match up until Hogan started doing his hulking up and all hell broke loose. We had the Yeti come out. Lex and Macho Man came out. Lex ended up turning on Hogan, and so did Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart was bashing Hogan with a title belt. And yeah, so everybody just went evil this episode. Then the Yeti and the Giant hugged Hogan awkwardly, and the Yeti was doing a whole gyrating hug that I think Hogan could have gotten sexual assault charges put on him. It was very awkward. They did it to Macho Man too, so I mean they could maybe go to support groups together. It was very awkward. And so yeah, it was what it was. The pay-per-view, I think I gave it like a 4.5 out of 10 stars. It was it was good filler pay-per-view between a good pay-per-view and a not so good one. So it was what it was. So, not bad, but it wasn't great either. So,
Well, I mean, you haven't found a good pay-per-view yet of all the ones that you've seen.
yeah, well, yeah. Hey, we got World War III coming up and Survivor Series, so I'm excited. We got some good ones. I hope.
I'm definitely interested in this. This World War III with three ring battle royale.
Yeah. So the next thing we're going to is WCW Nitro, which I thought wasn't a half bad show, much like Raw.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing really set either of the two shows apart from each other,
Mm-hmm.
or impressed me a lot.
Right.
I'm still waiting for that. Maybe I'm hoping that you know something triggers the matches that I've heard about.
Yeah.
You know, the amazing shows, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, this episode was um it was their Halloween episode. We had uh not a whole lot of Halloween references, kind of like what Raw had done, but we did get a a dog that was dressed up. Your favorite puppy, right?
And
No, you don't like that thing?
and you went trick or treating at the announcers' desks.
Yes, and they got a trick or whatever he said. I don't
You
remember.
got a Snickers for a treat,
Yeah,
and then Bobby Heenan got a trick because he didn't have a treat for the stupid dog.
right. Well, let's see. I've got a good close up here of Pepe. Um, he's all dressed up in his witch's costume. It's quite cute. It's definitely Thomas's favorite dog in the world, and
Nope.
so the first match of the night was Sergeant Craig Pittman versus Eddie Guerrero. Two very different fighting styles. And I've actually enjoyed
Yeah,
all of Eddie Guerrero's matches, single matches, anyways, so far.
yeah.
And
I
uh,
mean, actually, I've enjoyed all of them so far.
yeah,
Um, all of his matches,
yeah.
and
No, I mean, even the tag matches weren't bad. They weren't. I don't think they were up to standard with his first one with Benoit, though. Or that one with Benoit. That one with Benoit was amazing.
yeah.
Um,
I have a feeling that they're going to become a staple in WCW
yeah,
before they go to WWE.
yeah. Well, they're
Um,
very similar
I
and
have
they're
a feeling-
awesome together. So,
yeah, there's going to be a good feuds going with them.
mm-hmm. Well, with Pittman, Pittman really, I noticed he forced Eddie Guerrero to really fight his style. Um, it Eddie tried to do a lot of his kind of flippies and all that, but Pittman was pretty kind of like a uh, I don't know, back alley brawler kind of guy. He's kind of a very much to his character.
He's trying to be, hand-to-hand combat trained Marine, you
Right.
know.
Um, it
That's his
was
character anyway.
it
So.
was very interesting watching their styles mix. I think they did a very good job in this match. I will say I've enjoyed everything Eddie's done, and I have not enjoyed everything Pittman has done. And this is actually the first Craig Pittman match that I can say I actually enjoyed. Um, I really think that Eddie stole this one with the roll up pin. Um, I gave this a 5 out of 10.
Um, Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that, on the five. It's gonna be, you know, Eddie's still undefeated. He hasn't met anyone that you know, I mean, is he undefeated right now?
I don't think
Did he win against Chris Benoit or lose?
I'd have to go back and look. We'll
I
look
don't
into
remember.
that, but um, Eddie, I do think that Eddie's style is very different for this era, and I I think it's pretty cool seeing it play out with these other more classical kind of wrestlers and seeing
Yeah.
how they deal with it. The one thing I did note was Bobby Heenan left at this point. He left the commentary booth. So
Yeah, he's having a meeting,
yeah, he has a meeting.
like a lunch date.
Yeah. So this is Bobby Heenan left. That's all I put. So the next match is something that's been building since week 1 of the Monday Night Wars, which is kind of interesting. They've had this kind of on the back burner, and it's almost like they just didn't have time to let this play out. We have the Shark versus Scott Norton. And if you remember, Scott Norton was fighting, I believe it was Macho Man. And that's when the Shark tried to attack Macho Man during the match, and he fell on top of Norton, squishing him.
Yeah.
And then Macho Man picked up the win. So Norton's been really mad about that ever since it happened. So he and the Shark have been getting into fights backstage. I believe it happened on the night before pay-per-view. They had a whole scuffle. So it's nice seeing that these two actually are getting a some airtime. I actually really like Scott Norton. He's still an active pro wrestler, so that's pretty cool seeing what he does.
Is he in the indie circuits?
Yeah, I think he's over in Japan right now. Um, he he's still very scary looking. He's a big dude, but see this during this match. Heenan is found talking to a guy in the crowd over a candlelight dinner. Very odd. And they're like exchanging money. It looks like, and like a envelope,
Yeah.
and something's
It's
going.
like he's like dealing with Japanese triad.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know what's going on there. This whole match is just a big man match. If you like those kind of things, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Um, but as
Definitely not fast moving.
yeah, definitely not fast moving. Um, they these two guys did not care about the match itself. No, neither of these guys wanted to win this match. They just wanted to fight each other. And that's how this ended. These two guys fell out of the ring and they kept fighting and kept fighting. They got counted out, and that's how the match ended. And they just fought all the way to the back of the stage. They were bashing each other's heads into the WCW sign up at the front. And I got a pretty good screenshot of Norton trying to do a high flying move, and it was very humorous. You'll see it here in a second. He is just up in the air and coming down on poor Shark there. But yeah, you know, I wasn't mad at this ending. You know, we do say there's a lot of like ends to these matches, but this was pretty good,
Yeah.
as in it really feeds into these two dudes just hate each other. What do you think about it?
I don't think hate is the proper word.
Yeah.
I think loathe
Yeah.
would be a better word for it.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed this, and storyline wise, I thought it was interesting. The whole thing with Bobby Heenan was stupid. But I went ahead and gave this a 4 out of 10. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like, stupid either. So,
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4.5.
okay.
Maybe even a 5. I don't know.
Okay.
Um, You take your pick on which one you want. Because I think I think they just the Bobby Heenan thing took it was a distraction that
Yeah.
kind of took away from probably some good wrestling because they had it on Bobby Heenan for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, they did. We
So
probably missed quite a bit.
and yeah, so we probably missed some good wrestling in that,
Mm-hmm.
in that portion, which would have probably bumped it up, a little bit. But I think a 4.5, 5, somewhere in between there, maybe a 4.75.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So
um, let's see. After this match, we had Mr. Tony Schiavone, the voice of WCW to me. He interviewed Brian Pillman, Ric Flair, and Arn Anderson, and they announce the Four Horsemen are coming back, and they're saying there's another coming. So you can hedge your bets
yeah,
on
'cause
who that's gonna be. I
and
don't.
Sting was double crossed at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So that was. Yeah, that was interesting. That was a very frustrating match to watch at the pay per view, and all I can say is it's if you ever want to watch a match where Sting is holding out his hand trying to tag Ric Flair for 15 minutes, then that's the match for you. If you don't want to see that, then I'd probably skip it because it's terrible. Because once he does get that tag, it's not fun for poor Flair, or I mean, for poor Sting. So it is fun for Flair because they knocked the crap out of him. But
Uh,
um, you know, I am interested. I don't know who this fourth man is going to be. Um, kind of seeing how they've got two old timers and then they got Brian Pillman as the third man in the Four Horsemen. I imagine they'd pick another young guy to fill in for the fourth. What do you think?
um,
Or you think they're gonna dig back into the
or
past?
they may dig back into the past on this, but they said he's coming. So then, does that mean he's not on the show yet?
Yeah,
Or
maybe. Yeah, you make a good point. I was trying to think of people that were on the show that might fill in as a fourth, but you're right. We might see somebody new or somebody from the past come back from the Four Horsemen's past. So we will see.
yeah,
That'll be interesting. I'm kind of excited for that.
it'll
So,
be interesting to see. Definitely, yeah.
the next match, we have Sabu versus Disco Inferno, which, fun fact, the night before, Sabu had a fun match with Mr. JL, which lasted like a whole couple minutes. And yeah, it was interesting. Sabu won that one real quick, and he brought the Sheik with him. And
Really?
yeah, and so the Sheik came down, and they kept calling him the original Sheik. It's the original Sheik. It's the Sheik. He's the original Sheik. And I was like, well, there's something weird with that. I don't quite pick up on it, but I didn't look into it.
I
Um,
think I think because they called Sabu the Sheik, that was his a character before
maybe,
Sabu.
maybe I don't know. It was weird, but after he won, Sabu blew, or not Sabu, but the Sheik blew fire into Mr. JL's face. So like a fireball, no joke.
Wow.
It was a serious fireball in his face, and so that was interesting. So if I was Disco Inferno, I would not be this happy as he looks coming down to the ring, because the last guy he fought, got his face burned. So, I got a good close up uh, of Disco's butt there. It says Monday Nitro Fever, which is
I'm glad
really
this is
funny.
on a delay because
You've been pre-warned.
I'm I haven't seen it yet,
Uh,
and yeah.
I thought it was
At this
funny.
point, you're still discussing what happened on the pay-per-view. Oh God, there it
Yeah, there it
is.
is. Monday Nitro Fever. At first, I thought it said Monday Night, and I thought I better zoom in. Yeah, Monday Nitro. That's the reason I zoomed in. All
Why did
right.
you have to zoom in? And
So
why did you have to screenshot it?
I did. So this match was interesting. Um, it was fun. I think every Sabu match is fun to just begin with because it always ends with a table. Um, it wasn't the
Yeah,
longest
this time
match.
it ended with the table, but not who you thought it was going to be.
Right, exactly. Um, the Sabu won this with a somersault leg drop. Then he continued to beat the snot out of Disco. He pulled out the table and he jumped over the ropes, tried to do a leg drop onto um, Disco, and then, or he tried to land on him anyways, and Disco got out of the way, and we had a whole crashing, um, he nailed his back on
He
the
broke his
table.
back.
Yeah, he destroyed his back. I think that table, Sabu. I think that table was supposed to break when he hit it. It didn't break, and he was mad at that table. He
Yeah,
threw
I
that
know.
table.
I mean, that table just like it just I don't his back broke before that table broke. I think.
Yeah, it it was a little sickening to hear it. The yeah, he did a flip. He landed on it. It was horrible. He was in Sabu ended up throwing the steps and throwing the table. It was really funny. But you know, out of any Sabu match, this one at least wasn't disqualified after he won, and it had an ending. So I gave it a 5 out of 10 because I was tired of not having endings.
I'm because it had an ending. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6.5.
Boom! There you go. That's the highest rated Sabu match we've ever had. There you
Yeah,
go. Um,
dude, Sabu is still wrestling.
yeah, I imagine he is.
He's wrestling with Impact Wrestling again.
I imagine, and I bet you he has double the scars that he has at this point. I bet you he does. I would not surprise me. That man is insane.
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, he's how old is he? Well, I'm looking at his wiki page right
Okay,
now.
cool.
So, um, he debuted in '85. Because
Wow.
the whole thing about
85.
the
Wow.
Sheik, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to look up his actual screen ring names, and the Sheik wasn't one of them, so I'm not sure why they were saying that.
Yeah, I
But
think there was probably another Sheik like character in wrestling history. And
probably,
maybe that's why they were saying he's the original Sheik. I don't know. Maybe
but he's about to
somebody
turn
watching will
55.
know. Then leave that in the comments and explain it to us because we're not like we don't know everything. So we highly don't know everything. So, but we have
He's
opinions.
about to
Damn
turn
it.
55 here December 12th.
What's
So
that?
I say he's gonna turn 55 here in December 12th.
Oh, that ain't bad. That ain't bad at
Yeah,
all.
so
We're still wrestling
we're
at
gonna have to
55.
have
Oh,
your
that's rough.
background for that week's show is gonna have to be Sabu.
Yeah. Oh, so after this Sabu match, we had the new full Dungeon of Doom comes out, and which now includes the traitorous Lex and Jimmy Hart. Damn them. And
And then Jimmy Hart. So you can read about why I became a traitor to Hulk Hogan,
yeah,
or you can wait till next week.
yeah. Well, it's a little ridiculous. and the what was it, the match that we had, which I am now excited about because you guys saw it at the beginning of the show. The next match involved the American Males, which has Buff Bagwell, and that was fun. We had the American Males and versus Lex Luger and Ming. So this was a good match, and I really like the fact that the American Males were like so into the match. Like they were fighting back and really getting into it. At one point, Marcus Bagwell has I think he's fighting against Lex, and he's just really kind of like just laying into him, and the crowd really gets behind him. And so I was pretty impressed that, you know, for a team that is like what the American Males are, not their ability, but their personas, to get the crowd behind them that much was pretty cool.
I mean, they were definitely the baby faces of the match.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ming was as terrifying as ever, and but yeah, I got a screenshot here. This is when Buff Bagwell was really laying into Lex, and Lex was really, really, you know, just getting the crap knocked out of him. But eventually, Lex got, looks like, Buff Bagwell up in the torture rack, and yeah, once you're up in that torture rack, there's little hope for you. You know, overall, this was like one of the few good matches I thought of the night. It was probably one of the best tag matches we saw, and I went ahead and gave this a 6 out of 10.
Now, obviously you're not including the aftermath in that?
No, I didn't include the aftermath in that score.
Okay. Well, if we're not including the aftermath, I give it 6.5.
6.5? All right.
Yeah.
And
if we are including the aftermath,
yeah.
What
do you
then I'll give it a 7.
Okay. Okay, well then let's include it. And I think I will bump up a point to 6.5 if we include this aftermath.
Okay.
So we had the dungeon.
Just because Hulk Hogan got raped again.
Oh, it's terrible, man. That's terrible to wish on somebody.
I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry, you know. But he got raped by a mummy.
He did. And we had the Dungeon of Doom comes out. The Giant has the belt. We've got Hogan, and you know, he's getting his time with them, and him in the Yeti, which explained to me, and I asked this on my video last night. Explain to me, why is he called the Yeti?
I don't know. He should be called the Mummy because he's not even he's not a Yeti.
He's not a Yeti. He's a mummy. What about him is a Yeti? There's nothing about him that's a Yeti. Not a thing.
I mean, granted he's taller than the Giant.
He's way taller.
You know,
but
yeah.
But the only thing is he came out of a block of ice. He was a frozen mummy that is mistaken for a Yeti, apparently. He has no hair. He's all covered in bandages.
Yeah, Yeti's hairy.
I don't understand.
Yeti's hairy.
Yeah, I didn't understand this at all. But anyways, maybe somebody can explain it to us, because I am quite confused. So, yeah. The show ended with the trick or treat segment of the commentators there. We had Bobby the Brain Heenan getting sprayed with silly string, which was quite funny because he did get him right in the face. And
Yeah.
but overall, wasn't a bad show. You know, I'm interested to see where they're going with this whole Giant just taking the title, because he just walked off with it. I mean, it's not
there
like
was no
he's the
winner.
champion.
He was DQ'd for crying out loud,
well,
so there was no winner.
Explain me this too, because this is how they did it on the pay-per-view. The Giant cheated because all of his buddies came down and they beat up on Hogan, okay? But the referee was knocked out. So at that pay-per-view, Hogan, they announced it that the Giant won by disqualification, but Hogan retains the title. Okay?
Okay.
How does the Giant win? He wasn't. They didn't. The only person
outside interference.
The only outside interference that happened to the Giant is when Macho Man came in there, but unless that one, I mean, they had Hogan down and they're butt raping him. So I mean, what are you expecting? Maybe hugging is a disqualification.
No, man, I hate you sometimes.
I don't know why. I don't understand it. Explain it to me.
Because the ref got knocked out by his title.
Okay, so he thinks Hogan did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what it is. It's a dumb finish.
I didn't hear that he had won anyway. So
yeah,
I had heard the way I heard it was Hogan won. So
yeah, no,
or that there was no actual winner because there was a disqualification.
Yeah, well, the way they announced it, it really kind of threw me off. I didn't understand it at all. They didn't bother to explain it, so I was confused. But your explanation actually makes sense for once, so I'm excited about that. So I'm gonna go with that. So
for once,
yeah.
I make a lot of sense.
Prove your worth at least once in this show, I guess. So, before
I'll remember this.
Before we get to our final scores, what we think of the shows, who won this week, I would like to introduce or reintroduce our drinking game. And we weren't able to do it last week, and we won't do this every week, but we will kind of go over it here or there. This here is the TNT Wrestling 1995 Monday Night Wars drinking game. So if you're watching either Raw or WCW during the 1995 era, these are some rules to live by if you want to play a drinking game. So the first rule is drink when anybody says, "This is where the big boys play." The second rule is anytime Jerry Lawler talks all over a promo. He'd done that a few times very early in the series, and he's kind of cooled off of it, but not completely. So the next one is anytime a match ends, but the winner is attacked immediately after winning, which we see quite a bit on WCW. This one's one of my favorites. Anytime Vince McMahon dances awkwardly in commentary to Shawn Michaels' music, which was very disturbing to watch.
Which has only happened once so far.
Yeah, it only happened once, but once was enough, man. The next one is anytime Bobby the Brain Heenan puts down Steve's dog, Pepe, which he's done a pretty good job of just ignoring lately. And we've got anytime a match starts during a commercial break, which is kind of annoying to me. And anytime Disco Inferno comes out but does not wrestle, he just comes out to dance. And he's done that quite a few times. But what I would like to add this week, which I didn't run this by you, by the way. I just added one.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a jerk.
Yeah, I know.
And so...
You don't learn a lot of things by me.
Yeah. So I added anytime an ally turns on a friend during a match. Now, it has to be during a match, and it has to be an ally. It doesn't have to be their partner, but somebody like aligned with them. We saw that, I don't know how many times on this.
Saw it on the pay-per-view twice.
This pay-per-view was insane with it. So you'd be pretty drunk by the end of that pay-per-view. So you had Flair turning on Sting. You got both Jimmy Hart and Lex turning on Hogan, and you might have to do a double drink because they did the same against Macho. So it was pretty bad. So it was interesting. You could even almost include the there was another match in there with Ming when he fought, I believe it was Lex, and they disqualified Ming because Kevin Sullivan ran in the ring and kicked Lex to cause a DQ. So
yeah.
So anyways, so yeah, that's the drinking game there. So we'll put out that. Well, I'm gonna put that out on the Facebook thing, and we'll put out a little thing like this to keep everybody updated on there. And definitely check us out on Facebook, by the way.
And I will put the link out. Hopefully, Trevor has the link before we start, and so I can have it up earlier, so we can, kind of let you know.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's hard with these live shows. It's hard to do that. So currently, I have a WWE winning 4 weeks and WCW winning 4 weeks. So they're tied up with me. You've got WWE at 3.5 weeks, WCW at 3.5 weeks, and the Dog Show with a point. So I've thought about.
Did you say 3.5 weeks and 3.5 weeks?
Yeah, is that all right?
It should be points.
Well, points, weeks, it all is what it is. It's all the same. It's all points. They won the week. That's pretty much what we're going by.
Whatever.
And to quickly explain the Dog Show, which I've argued with Tom, I don't know how many times, he's given a point to the Dog Show because Nitro, when they debuted, they did it smart because they did it during a week that Raw was preempted by a Dog Show. So the
Dog Show was better.
Competition was a Dog Show, and he says the Dog Show was better. I do not agree, but there you go. Yeah, it is what it is.
You did not watch the Sharpays.
I don't know. I do like the Luchador Chihuahuas match though. That was pretty good. So so I think storyline wise, I think kind of fun wise, I probably enjoyed WCW this week a little bit better than I did Raw. So I am going to go ahead and give WCW that point, especially for this ending. And they're kind of like wrapping up and developing new stories. So I'm enjoying that.
I'm going to go ahead and give WCW the win as well.
Okay.
Because two things. I mean, you're seeing the Four Horsemen come back, make a return with one new and one announced new partner of theirs, which we don't know who the fourth member is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that someone got publicly humped on national TV.
Yes.
And
if you haven't seen it, it is worth watching that pay-per-view just fast forward it to that moment. If I could do a timestamp on those videos, I would do it. Yeah, or watch the episode. Yeah, they've got replays, they've got it happening, they've got it all. But yeah,
that's how the show ended.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting that they went with that. So, I am interested in who is behind the mask there of the Yeti. If it's someone that we recognize and maybe can humiliate. So,
I wonder if there's I don't know. Maybe next week while we're on live feed, I'll look up to see if they have if he has a wiki page.
Okay. Well, see, next week we are watching the November 6th edition of both Raw and Nitro. And see, I don't think we have a pay-per-view. What Survivor Series isn't yet, I don't believe. So,
No.
um,
Survivor Series was in 2 weeks, I believe.
yeah. So we're not quite there yet, so we won't see anything big happen this weekend. But yeah, if you guys want to follow along or want to watch ahead, that's the just search at the WWE Network or just look at look up Raw, go to 1995, and just go to the November 6th edition and watch it, and then watch WCW. We'd love to see people in the chat maybe giving their own reviews, maybe adding what they thought happened, or maybe if they disagree with something or have a question, let us know. We would definitely entertain that. You have anything you want to add, Tom?
No. I mean, we did do Halloween, a few days after Halloween.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit behind, but I kind of like this pace that we're going. So
Yeah, me too.
maybe next time I won't have a brain fart or start stuttering. But I don't know. I do have a natural stutter. It's not my fault.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Well,
but
and I'll try not to miss any matches. Okay, I promise. If there's another karate fighter match, I will
yeah,
try not to miss it. So
yeah, you should. It was amazing.
I imagine it was. I hate that I missed it. I really do. So thank you guys for watching. Look us up on Facebook under TNT The Monday Night Wars. If you have any questions for us, you can add us at TNT or just The Monday Night Wars. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. Find if you have any buddies that like pro wrestling and want to watch along, let them know. So
Yeah. Hopefully y'all like this.
yeah, definitely. We're going to be putting out some more content soon. So not just this show. We're going to be putting out some little other things. So it's going to be fun. So
All right.
Tom signed on for like 5 other shows. So anyways.
No.
We will see you guys next time. It's on the internet, so it's true. And we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.